Hey guys, how's it going? So today we're going to be looking over the new Neos cards of all things that were leaked out of like 3 days ago. I'm actually pretty excited about these because, well, I mean, I like Neos as an archetype and I actually tried to build it, but I like the Neospatian version, but it wasn't really too good, but like this support stuff's actually kind of insane. So let's go over it. So I found this article here showing us what we got. So first of all, we got our Elemental Hero Spirit of Neos. So just basically another Elemental Hero Neos card, just like your Honest Neos, but with better effects. So like you can only level 7, same stats as Neos actually, just warrior effect monster. So each of its effects are once per turn. So when the opponent's monster declares an attack, you special summon this card from your hand, defense position, and if you do, it cannot be destroyed by battle. That's pretty good, because it's kind of like a Karibo card almost. Is what that reminds me of. And on special summon, you can add one spell or trap that mentions an elemental hero monster's name or one polymerization from your deck to your hand, which is super good, especially since this is a fusion deck to add the poly. And like one card combos exist in this deck, and I'll go over another one tomorrow, and I'll link this video in it. But especially with a hero lives coming to 2, this stuff's kind of unexpected but awesome. And then of course during your main phase, you can shuffle this card into your deck, and if you do special summon one elemental hero normal monster from your deck, and that's just to get your elemental hero Neos on the field and recycle this card's abilities. Next we got one of our fusion monsters. Elemental Hero Shiny Neos Wingman. So yeah, Wingman's important now. So this card, level 8 Warrior Fusion Effect Monster to 8 is important. 3100 attack, 2500 defense. So the materials would be Neos and a Wingman Fusion Monster. So it must be fusion summoned, and that doesn't really matter because we negate all those requirements. So you can only use the first effect of this card's name per turn. So for the first, if this card is special summoned, you can destroy cards your controls up to the number of different attributes on the field, which is pretty good, especially with Neospatians. I don't know how often it's going to come up for like more than 2, but him being Lion, as long as you have like a Dark on field, that's already 2, is pretty good. And it's not targeting either, which is the main reason why. It's always at 1 destroy at least, since he's light. Gains 300 attack for each monster in graveyard, and cannot be destroyed by card effects, which is pretty good, especially with this, since you have just dumped a bunch of crap to the graveyard. And if this card destroys a monster by battle, inflict damage to your opponent equal to attack of the equal to the destroyed monster's original attack, which isn't the most important effect, but it's nice. Now we have our Crosskeeper, which is a level 2 Dark Warrior effect. So each effect's once per turn. So as first, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard, special summon elemental hero or Neospatian monster from your hand to graveyard. But if you special summon it from the graveyard, its effects are negated. That's pretty cool. I don't know if this is going to be one of the better ones that comes out. It's a neat gimmick, but I don't know how often or prevalent it will be used. But not bad for cycling your materials for like a contact fusion kind of style thing. I guess is really where it's at. If it was a tuner, it would be pretty cool, so we can do some synchro stuff, but whatever. The important thing about this is if you special summon Elemental Hero Fusion monster as well as cards in your graveyard, you can banish this card, draw 2 cards, place one card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. Now that's where I see this card being a 1 of or a 2 of possibly, because you can send it to the graveyard to get a special summon off a card you send, which could be prevalent, but it's not good enough to keep it in the deck in my opinion. It's a second effect for on the fusion summon to draw 2 and then put it on bottom is really good. I'm excited for that. And then we have I don't know how to pronounce it, but Engage Neospace. I don't know what the EN would be, but this is your normal spell card, so you can only activate 1 card with this once per turn basically. So you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck to turn you activate this card except fusion monsters, which it's a fusion deck, so as long as you're not going for outside play, this card won't affect you. But that's part of a 1-card combo, which I'll show you guys tomorrow. So you can send 1 Neospatian monster and an Elemental Hero monster to the graveyard, 1 from hand, 1 from deck. Special 1 Neospatian or a level 5 or higher Elemental Hero monster from your deck. And if it's Neos, it gains 1000 attack. If you do, add a Polymerization from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Pretty good to recycle your one copy of Polymerization, which is probably what you're going to be playing. Just one of it, because you have Neos Fusion, Contact Fusion, all that stuff. But this deck just revolves around Polymerization, especially with these new effects, which is kind of cool. So Polymerization is not useless. Pretty cool. It gets the dump from deck if you have the Neos in hand, which depending on how you play the deck or Spacian isn't really too hard. Only issue is sadly Neo Space Connector doesn't count. And it just summons another, so it's kind of, could be a little bit bricky, but I mean every card's a little bit bricky in some sense. Now we have the Instant Contact, which is also another fusion spell. So it's a normal spell, once per turn. So you pay 1,000 life points, special summon level 7 or lower elemental hero or Neo-Spacian monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. But if you do not have elemental hero Neos on your field or in your graveyard, the summon monster cannot attack. Its effects are negated. Also return to extra deck during the end phase. So you guys know what instant fusion is, right? So imagine instant fusion, but on steroids, because it's a higher level monster, right? And so 7 or lower, so it can't be the new one, which is fine. But as long as you have Neos in the graveyard, which is super easy, you just activate Neos Fusion and you're good. And then you use this, and then now, bam! Just a free fusion monster, basically. Seriously, and it doesn't even destroy itself during end phase. Well, I mean, I guess technically with the whole Neo Space thing, but you know, whatever. It's just kind of, it's pretty cool. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for these actually because it's kind of cool to see Neos actually support love. I get love support really. I have an N wave. N wave I think is what they're going for. This is the continuous spell card, so each effects once per turn. If your elemental hero the card's name is, so it's like you can't double stack on it. If your elemental hero monsters is used for a material or a fusion summon and sent to the graveyard or banished, you can special one Neo-Spacian monster or elemental hero Neos from your deck. What's cool about this is that you get your fusions off and advantages to fusioning, so it's just kind of, it's plussing all around, which is why the support's so great, because it kind of helps you with everything that the deck's problem was, which was doing something after the fusion summon without the help of like Destiny Hero, so you can build a more pure deck, which is pretty cool. So if a Neo-Spacian monsters and or elemental hero monsters is shuffled from your field and or graveyard into your deck and or extra deck, you can special summon one elemental hero monster from your graveyard. That's great because you can still summon your fusion monsters from the graveyard. And once again, with the one card combo, you're going to be shuffling those into the deck on your opponent's turn, and you get to summon another monster on top of your lockdown, and I'll mention that briefly later. So now we have a fusion over, yet another fusion card for Neos, because we need more, but you know, this is a good one, so don't complain. This is a quick play spell. You can activate one card with this, so it's once per turn. Target one face of monster on the field, reveal one elemental hero monster, one Neo-Spacian monster, or one level 10 monster from your hand deck and or extra deck. Or extra deck. And if you use the targeted monster as a fusion material this turn, you can treat its name as revealed monsters. Also, if you have elemental hero Neos on your field or graveyard, send a revealed monster to graveyard. Otherwise, if it was revealed from the hand, shuffle it into the deck. Cool thing here. I'm gonna just throw a pretty cool. It's cool to get names on the field because certain fusion guys require names, and it's a little bit hard to get, especially since you can choose from deck. So if you can't find a Neo-Spacian, bam, right there. But the cool thing is that if there's a Neos in your grave, you can send it to the graveyard from the extra deck. Have it come back up here. So if Neo-Spacian monsters and or elemental hero Neos is shuffled from your field and or graveyard into your deck and or extra deck, you can special summon that elemental hero monster you just sent to the graveyard. And pretty good. Pretty good. Now we have Favorite Contact, which is the last card, but just insane as well. So it's a normal trap card. Now this is the card that gets you the really insane lockdown on your opponent's turn. Now you can only activate one card per turn. So special summon one fusion monster from your extra deck that lists a hero monster as material by placing the materials listed on it from the bottom of your deck in any order from among cards in your hand, on your field, in your graveyard, and or your face-up banished cards, ignoring its summoning conditions. And if you placed elemental hero Neos, and if you place elemental hero Neos, the summon monster cannot be returned from the extra deck. I'm pretty sure that means used, but we'll get the full translations a little bit rough. And it cannot be returned to the extra deck. Now, I'm just going to quickly mention Elemental Hero Cosmos Neos. Now, for those of you who don't know his effects, so he needs Elemental Hero Neos and 3 Neospatians with different attributes. And you get to send all those cards to the graveyard with your new cards and previous ones. It's kind of insane, really. And it needs a Neos. And so it's not going to be returned to the deck since you're using the Neos for its requirements. Now, the great thing about this is, so it must be special summoned from the extra deck by shuffling the above cards you control into the deck. Doesn't matter. So if this card is special summoned from the extra deck, you can activate this effect. Now, this is why this card is insane. And this might actually be a pretty expensive deck, so I recommend getting on this stuff before it's too much if you really want to. Although Heroes is pretty expensive now, so hurry, basically. You can so for the rest of the turn, your opponent cannot activate cards. Also, cards your opponent controls cannot activate their effects. And crazy, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this effect's activation. Whew. And once per turn during the end phase, shuffle this card into the extra deck, and if you do, destroy all cards your opponent controls. Now, depending on what your opponent does through that, if they're playing Negate, you just decide to screw them over. So basically, I'm saying this is kind of insane. But yeah, so sorry a little bit late to this, but this is actually really good support, and I'm surprised that we're getting it for Elemental Hero Neos. It's just kind of random, but really worth it. So I hope you guys are excited as I am. We'll do some stuff coming up in the near future on 1-card combos and like decks when this stuff fully comes out. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this and look forward till tomorrow for some 1-card combos, because apparently that's a part of Elemental Hero Neos now. Anyways, bye guys. Have a great day.